Hello, good morning. It's Adil Fazal here, market analyst on behalf of CFDs.com. Certainly visit their website, www.cfds.com. Also, with regards to the educational aspect, I update charts in real time at www.cfds.education. So certainly visit that website too and open up a broking account, because going forward you will be receiving my daily analysis and research stroke obviously market forecasts and potential setups, etc., going forward to all clients of www.cfds.com. Okay, now they do have a very solid platform. Also they have an app with regards to trading, so certainly visit the website and check out the products and services they offer. Okay, now with regards to European markets, that's basically the actual insight today. So the market is currently 10 past 10 a.m. I'm just going to look into European markets and see exactly where they stand. Okay, Asian markets overnight in terms of fundamentals. First of all, Nikkei flat more or less overnight. The Shanghai was smoked. I think it was a limit down minus 10% at one time. The Hang Seng down 1.8%, so therefore risk-off scenario. Okay, so we certainly seem to be having a risk-off scenario in the Asian markets. The uncertainty regarding Greece, as we all know, certainly seems to be the predominant theme, given the fact that talks are broken down and they certainly seem far apart than they ever were. Although European indices are certainly taking in their stride, and although FTSE has sold off quite substantially, it's certainly under pressure. Even with the Tesco earnings coming out slightly better than expected, I didn't expect the FTSE to be down quite substantially or be the leading leader in terms of the weakness, but it certainly is the case this morning. As you can see here, FTSE down 1.1%, and as you can see, Tesco is the main leader, along with other supermarkets such as Sainsbury's and Morrison's, with up 3.5% or 3.2%, and that certainly was expected to keep the FTSE afloat, but obviously isn't the case. Arm Holdings, Glencore, Anglo American, BHP, basically all the commodities. Why? Because Shanghai was down, a limit down almost 10%, so quite hit quite hard. Okay, the rest of the European indices, they are obviously in the red, but not as substantial as the FTSE, as you can see, minus 1.1%, even with the Tesco news. Okay, now let's start to break this down in terms of the because we already know the fact that Greece certainly remains the predominant theme, and therefore it's a risk-off scenario, etc., etc. Okay, so daily chart of the German DAX, as you can see, is into that 50 or fib 61, 75% certainly held on a daily chart. Okay, and the market certainly seems to be under pressure. 60-minute chart, we certainly have made a lower high, and now looking potentially to make a lower low. We've broken out the channel on a 60-minute basis, and therefore buyers would remain down, given the fact that we have the Greece concerns. Obviously the situation in Greece changes in terms of the risk, etc. Then obviously given the fact that there is a meeting today, given the latest news, the Greek official PM Tsipras to meet Merkel and Holland later today, which obviously wasn't scheduled in before, so that one certainly needs to remain open to a potential short squeeze, given the fact that there may well be some kind of agreement, etc., or some kind of reconciliation between the parties in terms of the talks. Okay, the 10-minute chart, and as always, folks, you know, you should always be flexible. Don't marry a particular direction or opinion. Okay, so in terms of technicals, let's just bring this up here. You have this H&S formation, as you can see here. Left shoulder here, you got your head here, your right shoulder here, and the market obviously is below the neckline. So that certainly is obviously a potential pattern on the European indices in terms of the actual markets obviously coming under pressure now. Certainly more obviously easier to spot on the 60-minute really. I mean, if you can just want to your left shoulder, obviously the head's gone in there, and you're looking for the right shoulder, and obviously downward flush. Given the fact that it's a lower high and we've broken out the bullish channel as well, there's a higher probability of the DAX obviously falling. So if you take the pivot high being say 11.5 or 11.600, let's just round it off, okay, and your neckline is around 11.400, then you're looking at 11.200 on the downside. Okay, also given the fact that on the German DAX you do have an unfilled gap below at 11.050, again that certainly remains a possibility on the downside, so obviously be open to that as a trade. Okay, now let's have a look at its pairs. Okay, so let's bring up the chart of the French CAC and see exactly where this stands. Yes, this fib 75% resistance certainly held, horizontal resistance held, doji candle so far, unfilled gap below at 4800. Given the fact that obviously we haven't closed, let me just bring up the or the charts or the format. Given the fact that we haven't closed that gap again, and also given the fact that there's no deal with regards to Greece, that certainly remains vulnerable to being closed. Again, given the fact that we've got the meeting and the markets have been short squeezing on false rumours, anything is a possibility as always. Okay, so always bear that in mind. Let's just bring up a chart of the actual French CAC. Okay, here we go. Right, so the French CAC itself, we are holding a base around this region here, around the 5,000 level. We're holding on to that. The market refuses to go below. Whether it knows there's a potential deal in the works, I don't know. As traders, we don't know. All we can do is base it off technicals, and you can see technicals certainly have put in a double top at 5080. We're looking for a potential lower high. We do have an unfilled gap here. Unfilled gap here at 5040, but given the fact that the Asian markets were flushed overnight, it's very hard to see that gap closing at this very juncture, unless, like I said, there's some sort of deal in the works, and at present I don't have privy to that. I'm not privy to that information. Okay, I can only see what's present before me at this current juncture, and obviously that is the case that there is no deal at all. 60-minute chart, obviously we've broken out of the bullish channel. Now we're consolidating sideways before obviously we are vulnerable to closing the gap below, which you already know at 4800. We have support at 4915 on the French CAC. Okay, so the Euro stocks, let's bring up the chart. The Euro stocks now. Euro stocks themselves, again, we are consolidating in this region. We held these previous resistance equal support level in terms of the morning. Failed to hold the support at 3580. Okay, and we do have a downward sloping trend line. So if you just connect this pivot to this pivot, okay, and we are looking for a potential lower high. Okay, so that's basically where we stand. Okay, so take this pivot low here, just connect it across. Okay, so we're looking for potential lower lows, lower highs to resume. Yes, we have held that previous resistance equal support. The next level of support will be around this region here, which is going to be 3530 region, and then obviously you have an unfilled gap below. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking for in terms of price action. Okay, now that's the chart of the Euro stock. So certainly, I mean, at this current juncture, yes, I do have a bearish bias, and yes, I am short as a trader, so I'm just declaring my bias. Okay, but I'm certainly expecting lower prices given the uncertainty regarding Greece, plus the Asian markets obviously under pressure. Okay, now the next indices we're going to look at is the FTSE 100. Okay, as you can see, FTSE 100 flushed quite substantially, even with the news from Tesco, which again, kind of surprising, given the fact that we expected the European indices to given the fact that we expected French CAC and DAX obviously to be flushed instead. Now, obviously, we've paced the 200 MA at present. You have that horizontal support previously, which is here. Now, we also need to remain open to a potential inverted head and shoulder. So this is your left shoulder. Here, okay, that's your right shoulder. Obviously you've got the head below, you've got the neckline, which obviously we flushed up towards, and the market obviously potentially making the right shoulder before it moves higher. So that certainly remains a possibility as well from a trading perspective. Okay, that certainly remains a possibility in terms of the inverted head and shoulders formation. Now the FTSE 250 certainly has a different picture altogether, given the fact that it's broken out of the weekly chart. Okay, the daily chart itself has an H&S formation, so therefore weakness. Okay, I wouldn't expect strength there at all. Also, with regards to the FTSE All Share, again held that resistance level and now looking for a potential move lower, and that also has a H&S formation. So that's your left shoulder here, and then obviously we're looking for a right shoulder move potentially lower, and that obviously trigger off the H&S formation. So that certainly is a possibility as well. Okay, now ideally we want to take our cue from the US indices, ideally. So let's just bring up the actual S&P 500 and see if we can get any potential levels from there. So if I go to a 60-minute chart, because the 10-minute chart, as you can see, is flushed and certainly is under immense pressure and immense strain. Okay, so let's just see what this pairs are doing. Okay, so on a 60-minute chart, we certainly have broken out that bullish channel. Now looking for a potential thrust lower. Okay, so you have support here at the 2090 level. Okay, that's basically the level that we're looking for. Connecting the pivot lows together, and as you can see, you are in. We had this bullish trend line, and that obviously has been negated. 2102 is where we close, and the next support level is around the 2090 region. So very hard to see this market continuing to fall. Continuing to rally, should I say, or post a potential reversal. Also, with regards to the HNS, one could certainly argue you've put in a double top here. Obviously, you've put in a lower high, and then obviously the market flushes down to the 2090 region. I can't see any key level of support other than that 2090, so therefore buyers certainly would remain down. Okay. 10-minute chart. Let's just bring that up now. Again, just going back to the 10-minute. Okay, so certainly a potential for a double bottom at 2102, but given the fact that the markets have flushed quite substantially and the inverted head and shoulders has failed, and given the fact that Asian market are down, that's certainly it's very hard to see a potential bounce here on the S&P 500. There has to be some catalyst in terms of economic data, in terms of obviously Greece, etc., etc., or any real positive, strong economic data that will push it, reverse the market around. Okay, but at this very juncture, given the fact that the Asian markets dictate, like I said, and the news regarding Greece, again, if there is any alternative news such as a potential solution, then obviously we will get a short squeeze higher. Okay, folks, so that certainly is a wrap. Like I said, certainly be sure to visit cfds.com for visit and obviously observe its products and services. They do spread betting and they cover the CFD area. Okay, folks, goodbye now.